quick note to self that I know I'll ignore in the future. When you try to ram multiple meetings into the same day in various locations across the city, from Rhodes to North Rocks to the centre of the city in Pitt Street, you're bound to come unstuck at some point. Right, so this morning kicked off so quickly that I've already had a phone call with Luke in New Zealand. It's a bit of a check-in between board meetings. I then had breakfast with Ryan in Rhodes to catch up with him between board meetings. And now I've just landed out here at ticketless parking for a board meeting with Japan and Giles. So, and it's only 10 o'clock. So big start to the day and still a lot more to go. But it's, like I said yesterday, it's one of my favourite types of day. Just a lot of activity, catching up with lots of people and ticking through a lot of things. So really efficient. Here we are. I'll show you as we walk in. Hey, how you going? Just a really quick one while I think of it. Just got off a meeting with one of the CEOs and we're talking about recruiting someone new into their team, and it's a relatively junior role. You know, the salary range is 50 to 60,000 per annum. But we've identified someone that could be great for the role. They're more senior, they're more experienced, but they're happy to take the role because they're at that part of their career where they're keen to kind of step back from kind of senior leadership positions or management or supervisor positions and actually get back on the tools. But they're keen for a $90,000 package instead of a $60,000 package. And two things came to mind for me. One is that simple comment around, you know, hiring is guessing and firing is knowing, which is an extreme comment to make. But basically, there's a reason why probation periods exist. Sometimes it's hard to tell everything about a person purely from an interview process, and you need to have a crack at seeing what they look like in the seat. And also they need to have a chance to sit in there for themselves as well. But the other comment that I made to this particular CEO was, in that area of the business, it's not hard to imagine paying $90,000 for a role of some sort to deal with the situation and add value to that part of the business. Just so happens that we scoped up a role that we believe is worth 60. But what if you went back to the drawing board, scoped up a role that would be worth paying 90 for, and then have a discussion with that person to say, well, if I add these few extra things to the JD, maybe it could be worth 90, and then that could be something that you could get on board and do for us. Is that something you'd be willing to do? Depending on how that conversation goes, you then have a chat to the rest of the team around the space that opens up for them to focus on other things. So you effectively are redeploying that $30,000 difference elsewhere in the team to continue making sure that you're spending money in a productive way. So anyway, when you're recruiting, particularly in a smaller business, you don't always have all the options available to you that you might with a big business or a big brand. So sometimes you need to change your approach to actually get the deal done when you're recruiting. Hey guys, so it's already Tuesday, heading into the city. Got a lovely walk across the bridge just then, which was awesome. Beautiful day for it. But I'm heading in to catch up with a couple of people actually. Quick chat to the ticketless guys, talking about some opportunities for some offshore growth, which would be exciting. And then a couple of other chats with a few people just generally in the network. Give you an update with those along the way. And the next few weeks is going to be pretty exciting because I'm basically visiting almost every business I'm involved with. Rightio. Now off to lunch with a couple of guys just to talk about some opportunities to do a bit of a collaboration. I won't give you too many details just yet, but could be some fun just for the market. Keep people thinking about what opportunities there are out there in the overall ETA space, and lots of good businesses to buy. So let's see if we can encourage people to think about those. So I just got out of a meeting just then, and it made me remember how easy it is to waste a lot of time in meetings. What errors did we make? We didn't have a clear enough agenda. We didn't have any pre-reading when the type of meeting we had that we could have had pre-reading. When we realised pretty early on in the meeting that it wasn't going to be productive, we didn't call it early and say, wait a second, we made a mistake. We've set aside a couple of hours, but we're not making progress. Let's reconvene. There's no harm in that. There's no shame in that. If you get ready for a meeting and you started and it's clearly heading downhill, then just call it early. Give everyone the time back. Anyway, sometimes it's very quick and easy to burn time in a day when you've got other things that would be much more productive to spend your time doing. So yeah, meetings, make sure you've got a clear agenda, make sure there's pre-reading sent if pre-reading's available, and thirdly, if you're getting into a meeting and regardless of where you are, 3 minutes in, 30 minutes in, whatever, you realise that it's not productive, call it early, reconvene, try again. Currently only 15 minutes behind on the schedule, and I'm hoping to make it up now, but yeah, I do love these back-to-back days, but equally, I've got to be careful I don't try and squeeze too much in. Now just a quick drive up to visit my friends at Scolari. So obviously Giles is a partner there and on the board at Ticketless. Wetherill Park, Western Sydney. There's always a lot going on out here, lots of great little businesses, one of which is Grimer Recycling, where I'm on the board. Catching up with Rob, and I can't give you all the details because some of it's still in the works, but we've got a few ideas about some interesting kind of opportunities in the space that we might be able to take a closer look at. And then also just good opportunity to catch up with Ryan and Rob, his manager here, and just talk about how they're going out here. It's still relatively early days. We're only a couple of months in. And so every single time we visit or chat, there's always new things to learn, both for me in learning the industry and the business and the people involved, but also for them as they're picking up all of those nuanced things that you can never pick up in due diligence. Like I always say, you'll learn more on the first day of owning the business than you would have in the due diligence phase. So you need to keep an open mind in that first period. There we go. Day almost done. I managed to catch back my time. So yeah, just finished my last meeting in the city, back home for a Zoom call with Katie to talk about actually content and what to do with this stuff that I'm creating and how to make sure that I'm getting it out there and I'm getting it in the hands of the right people. So after spending some time really thinking hard about the purpose behind my marketing efforts, I don't necessarily have a product to sell. I'm not actively trying to create pipeline in the normal way from the efforts that I'm putting into marketing, doing things like this vlog and things on other channels. I knew that my gut was telling me that I wanted to do it, and it was something that I felt like I should be doing, but I couldn't really still clearly articulate it. But I think if I look at what I have done over the last few years in contributing to the growth in the ETA and search community in Australia and New Zealand, I think that outcome helps me to articulate what I'm trying to achieve into the future. So yeah, if I project 5 years down the track, what I want to see is a vibrant ETA and search fund community in Australia, New Zealand, and into Asia Pac. And the reason why I want to see that is because, first of all, I think it's a great endeavour. I think that there's some great outcomes for community. I think it helps with the longevity of businesses and small businesses in Australia without succession plans. I think there's a lot of community and market and economic benefits to it. But also, I think it's important for me to articulate the selfish outcome. It's easy for skeptics to start to kind of wonder why I would put this effort in. So if there is a layer of selfish outcome for this, I guess if I project myself forward into that marketplace in 5 years' time with this vibrant community, as an investor in that community, it means I've got more opportunities. Getting the clarity around what I'm trying to create has really, really helped. And I think what I am trying to create is a long-term outcome. It's a 5 to 10 year vision. It's about what can I do now? What can I contribute to the market and the messaging and the education and the communication so that we hopefully over that long term build this vibrant network, this vibrant market, and this vibrant community for entrepreneurship through acquisition and search. Hopefully this goes some way to try and invite more people around the campfire.